Right. 31 January 2022, and this is the last day of January, and we're moving very fast into the year, into 2022. It's amazing. So I know today I'm late. I normally broadcast at 10 past 9, but today I'm very, very late. We've been very busy with the project that we're doing here in South Africa. So many people will be able to see this tomorrow. But what has been happening with Thokozani Khuphe, Dr. Thokozani Khuphe, is set to watch. And it's one of those things that I always say politicians in Zimbabwe, especially opposition politicians, are failing to create a plan B. When you leave politics, you now don't know what else to do. This is what exactly is happening with Dr. Thokozani Khuphe and the people around here. They have not created a plan B, and they keep clinging on to politics because there's nothing else that they know how to do. And the thought of not being in politics in Zimbabwe, there are people who feel that if they're not in politics in Zimbabwe, the whole country will collapse and the opposition will collapse and nothing will happen. This is the dilemma that Zimbabwe has got, that the opposition politicians are actually a bigger problem than the current government. And people don't realize this. The current opposition politicians that we have, they have been in politics for so long. It's almost, most of them are in politics longer than ZANU-PF. So Dr. Thokozani Khuphe, this week, in fact, yesterday, she put out some court papers. So I don't know if the purpose was to get some public sympathy or what, but she widely publicized an urgent court application that she's been sending out, which is going to be heard at the High Court in Bulawayo. And this is a very strange set of papers. So I don't know what the lawyer is thinking here. And the lawyer, her lawyer here is Khuphe. Let me see who exactly. It's Khuphe attorneys who are in Park Road, suburbs, Bulawayo. If you read these court papers, this urgent court application by Dr. Thokozani Khuphe, you will see that this is not a serious court application. And my lawyer here in South Africa, Advocate Spanda, he told me something. There are certain things that you say, you think as a person, but which don't make sense legally. And those things, if a good lawyer is sitting with you, they will tell you that these things that you are saying, they are not supposed to be in court papers. So when I spoke to my lawyer and we were going up against one of the billionaires in Zimbabwe, he explained to me that, yes, what you are saying, that is what you think, that is what you believe. But I cannot put this in my court papers. The court papers that we're putting out must be based on legal, sound legal principles. And what Khuphe has done here is to embarrass Dr. Thokozani Khuphe. There are no legal arguments in these papers, in these court papers, which if you go to gambakwe.com now, you'll see the urgent court application. What Dr. Thokozani Khuphe wants is she wants to get the money that is supposed to go to MDC-T. And her argument is that Senator Douglas Monzora is now a member of the MDC Alliance, another political party. So he ceases to be a member of the MDC-T, which is a ridiculous argument because the court, the Supreme Court, has ruled that the MDC-T is in the MDC Alliance. So there's no way you can go to court and then try to reverse that position. And I see why they did this. They're working with Nelson Chamisa. Specifically, they're working with Prince Dubekos Banda. You can see his name is in the court papers here, who is also trying to be a lawyer. He's training to be a lawyer. And you can see that he's a student. And I laugh when I see these guys wasting so much time in court. The argument that they advance here, they are quite embarrassing. I do not even as a person who's not a lawyer, I cannot believe that they're taking this to court and hoping that the court will interdict Senator Douglas Monzora, Minister of Justice and Legal Parliamentary Affairs, Minister of Finance and Economic Development, so that they do not give the money because Dr. Thokozani Khuphe says she's now the acting. How did she become acting? So all this is not properly explained in the court papers that she's putting out. Why is this agent? So that it goes to, on the court roll, is an agent court case. I do not think that these guys think through their court cases. I think what they do is they go out emotionally and they hope that they will make a statement and the court will somehow take sides with them. But what is very, very interesting is the admission by Dr. Thokozani Khuphe that she made a mistake when she announced a split. So if you look at the court papers, as I said, you can go to gambako.com and see them. Dr. Thokozani Khuphe says she made a mistake when she announced that there was a split. And she has now realized that she was not supposed to make that announcement. She was supposed to say that she's now the acting president of the MDC-T. So if you go to page 11 of the court papers, what Dr. Thokozani Khuphe says is that, frustrated by these events, I then organized a meeting, which was well attended to, and declared a split on the 21st of January 2022. And she attaches a copy of the speech that she made in Bulawayo. Remember at McDonald Hall. I have been advised, which advice I accept to be true and correct, that my meeting of the 21st of January 2022 is problematic in two ways. One of such is that, as the deputy president of the second applicant's party, I assumed automatic leadership as an acting president by operation of the provisions of the second applicant's constitution. Now, this is ridiculous. How do you become an acting president without following any process of the party whose constitution you're quoting? Did she call a national council? Did she call a national executive? You see, all these things did not happen. So Dr. Thokozani Khuphe has admitted that a meeting was problematic. Then she says, while I am on record as having declared a split on the 21st of January 2022 in Bulawayo, I am advised that the true legal position is that that the first respondent had been automatically expelled from membership of the second applicant on account of his political association with or support of the Movement for Democratic Change Alliance, leaving myself as the acting president of the second applicant, the person in charge of second applicant's affairs in that capacity. The foregoing is so because the second applicant's constitution does not recognize the appointment of second vice president of the second applicant. So you can see she's putting together a number of issues, but the key thing is that Dr. Thokozani Khuphe has withdrawn her split announcement. She is now saying she is back in the MDC-T. She's the president of the MDC-T, or she's the president of the acting MDC-T now as we speak. She's acting. And Mudzuri is not there. He's not the second vice president of the MDC-T. She's also saying everything that she announced, people should just forget it. There should be no process. There should be no questioning. The members should not talk about it. She's now back as the vice president, as the president of the MDC-T. And this is despite, or in spite of what happened in Bulawayo. I've got video of Dr. Thokozani Khuphe's people, their performance and what they did when they were in Bulawayo was very embarrassing, and it bordered on quite a tribal approach to politics. And I did not publish these videos because I felt that out of respect and out of not trying to inflame the situation, we should just keep these videos away from the public domain. But the truth is that Dr. Thokozani Khuphe, firstly, she's getting wrong legal advice from Khuphe attorneys These guys are horrible. In fact, they're not good lawyers at all. And I do not know why she keeps using these people. Secondly, Dr. Thokozani Khuphe has made a mistake again. Remember last year in December, we mentioned that Dr. Thokozani Khuphe was making a mistake when she did not recognize the outcome of the vote of the Congress of the MDC-T, because she's doing exactly what she wants other people not to do. If you go to an election, you can win or you can lose, but she does not want to lose. And when she loses, she then goes around and collects a whole bunch of people on a tribal basis, because I'm seeing that this is becoming tribal, which is the problem. She's now dividing the party on a tribal basis, such that the people from the southern region and the people from the northern region are now divided. And the biggest problem that we have here is also that as long as she is in politics, she's going to continue causing chaos, whichever political party is. Like basically now she's being used by the CCC guys. And it's clear and apparent in these papers that the CCC guys wrote these court papers, hoping that they could somehow overturn the presidents of Douglas Munzora, so that they get some advantage of some sort. So very sad attempt. From what I can see here, the opposition in Zimbabwe becoming a bigger problem. Lack of order, lack of organization, and focusing too much on power because they do not have an alternative activity to take part in. If Dr. Thokozani Khuphe is not vice president, if she's not in the leadership of the party, she probably doesn't have anything right now that she can do. So she keeps coming back instead of grooming younger people. And I always keep saying this, there are no young people coming up in the opposition. There's probably more young people in ZANU-PF politics than there are in MDC-T, in CCC. The people that you have around Chamisa, if you get them out of office, if you go right now, if Chamisa was to say, Watch me, Tendai BT, please go and rest. Amos Chibaya, Charlton, when they go and rest, let's put new people. What these people will do is have a heart attack. All of them, they'll have a heart attack because they cannot imagine themselves out of office, out of power. The power hunger in the opposition in Zimbabwe is very, very high compared to, in fact, ZANU-PF is doing much better. And because what you see is candidates are settling. You're having new candidates coming up in ZANU-PF. You're having at least new structures coming up. In MDC, in CCC, the same people that were there during Tsvangirai's days are there around Chamisa. And it's a badge of honor that you were there when Tsvangirai announced the party. If you were sitting with Tsvangirai 25 years ago or 30 years ago, you are popular. You're the one who's supposed to be in office, which is a retrogressive and backward way of thinking. And this is why you see that the opposition in Zimbabwe cannot unite. They cannot take the country forward because they are so focused on positions and they don't admit defeat. So if they are defeated, even in their own political party, they will never admit that they've lost. And Dr. Thokozani Khuphe has been at it since December 2020. We went through 2021. And this is happening continuously. We have all these fights in the opposition. We have by-elections now because of the opposition. And they turn around and blame ZANU-PF and say ZANU-PF is the cause of the problems. But if these guys were to get into office, any of these opposition parties in Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe will not get better. It will actually become a worse off country because the guys don't get it. They don't understand what change is all about. So you can go and look at these court papers. I don't know if this was filed because it looks like a draft, but we'll hear more this week. I hope that the High Court in Bulawayo, they dismiss this case like they dismissed the previous ones. People are tired of these opposition parties in Zimbabwe. They don't bring any value at all to Zimbabweans, and they waste so much time. But the key point here is that Dr. Thokozani Khuphe has admitted that there's no split, that she made a mistake in announcing that split, and that she did not have the capacity to call for a split, and there's no such thing as a split in the MDC Alliance Constitution or the MDC-T Constitution. Even Chamisa has admitted it. He's abandoned the MDC Alliance name because the Supreme Court cannot be opposed. You can try so many ways, but it always comes back to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is supreme for a reason. You cannot overturn what they do. And I think the next place you have to go is the Constitutional Court if you want to overturn something that the Supreme Court has said, which is why this is a futile exercise. What the lawyers are doing here, they are abusing Dr. Thokozani Khuphe, and I wish that there was a fine that lawyers could be given for giving bad advice. Khuphe attorneys of Park Road, 12A Park Road suburbs, probably the worst lawyers in Zimbabwe right now because of what they're doing. The advice they give is horrible. They cannot put out such papers and expect to get respect from anybody, especially serious people. I do not get it. How a lawyer can go out and advise their client that you can do such, you can put out such an application at the High Court on an urgent basis. I can't get it. I cannot believe it, especially when the funds have already been gazetted. So this is not a legal matter, it's a political matter, which is Dr. Thokozani Khuphe was supposed to go out on a podium and apologize and say, I made a mistake, I acted emotionally. I now admit that I've lost. And she is going to be recalled. If Senator Monzora does not recall her, I do not know what you'll be thinking. She's definitely going to be recalled. All the guys around here, they need to be recalled so that there's order in politics. Because these guys that we have right now, they are a big problem. The problems that we have in Zimbabwean politics is not ZANU-PF. In fact, well, let me say it's not ZANU-PF only. Because our politicians cannot talk to each other. They are lawyers. Most of the politicians we have in Zimbabwe are lawyers. They want to win. And they do not know how to compromise, how to find each other, and how to find consensus. Because that is the problem we have right now. The politicians in Zimbabwe, it's all about division. I'm better than you. I'm the best. I was there when this was happening. If I don't get it, no one should get it. This is how politics is being done in Zimbabwe, especially among the opposition. And they're making it hard, life hard for everybody. It's personalized politics, which is a mess. Right, let's wrap this up. It's very late, and I have been working very, very hard on projects here in South Africa. Dave Ngoma, I want to start with you today. Kambako, your channel is very informative. Your problem is extreme bias. How do you say people in Zimbabwe are tired of these opposition parties? Are the spokesmen of Zimbabweans? Are you the spokesman? I think you want to say, are you the spokesman of Zimbabweans? Focus on your journalism, not propaganda. I do not know what propaganda is, Dave, but what I can tell you is that right now, nothing is going to come out from the opposition politicians because they do not get the bigger picture. And we'll be back here. I remember I was there in 2018 when this election happened. Chamisa said he didn't lose. Right now we're in 2022. It's 4 years. And he's still saying he didn't lose. And you will see that in 2023 when he loses, he's going to say he didn't lose. That is the problem in Zimbabwean politics. Here in South Africa, elections were held a few months ago, the council election. It's almost like nothing happened. They're fighting very much, but the population is moved on. There's the next election here in South Africa in 2024. And you will see, it will take a few months. People will forget, they'll move on with their lives. In Zimbabwe, it's all about politics. Nothing ever works in Zimbabwe. Even if something is unrelated to politics, someone is going to turn it around and make it political. Take, for instance, the case of Jacob Ngari. Today he had a thing with a policeman, and suddenly it becomes a political issue. If you look at our journalists in the opposition, if anything happens, it becomes political, it becomes about the government. No one ever thinks, what is wrong with the system? I always tell you, what is wrong with the system How do you create a system? This is where these people are failing. If you look at Chamisa, he cannot create a system. I keep telling people that if Chamisa was to get into office, he won't have enough people to fill in the government positions. He's going to have be like Hakainde Hichilema. He hasn't filled up positions right now, all the positions, because you don't have a system of creating new talent and bringing it to the top. That is how you get change. You don't get change by becoming the president. If you become the president without a system, everything won't work, because the system must hold you up. And look at Chamisa right now. He announced a new party. Right now, there's no executive, there's no website, there's nothing. The only thing they have is yellow t-shirts. And you believe that this kind of people can lead this country and bring change. It's impossible. And I'll be here back in 2023. I'll be telling you this very same thing I told you. You can't win elections without convincing the whole country. And they want to convince, they're happy to convince the small circle that they have. And then they'll complain when they lose. That is their problem. They don't get it. You need national cohesion. And then from national cohesion, you need to be organized. And the opposition in Zimbabwe is not organized. They are fighting all the time. Right, let's go to Lakson. He said, may you also come and do some projects in Botswana? Lakson, I'm not going to be coming to Botswana. I don't want to lie to you. When I was last in Botswana, I almost got robbed in Francistown when I was with my family. And I actually wrote off Botswana that time. And right now, the amount of robbery is taking place in Botswana. It feels like there's some security issue there. They can't maintain order. I don't know why. So I've written off Botswana. I used to consider it a very calm and stable country, but I see it right now as a country which is on the verge of having a very big problem, a big security problem, especially in terms of armed robberies. There's something happening in the security structures in Botswana, and it makes me very uncomfortable. Then Gambakwe CCC cannot be run the way you want, for you are not a member. I'm not a member. I'll never join anything with Chamisa. I can assure you that right now. And I will never join a political party in Zimbabwe because I'm not interested in politics. I'm interested in the analysis that I'm giving you now, but it's just too tiring. Being a politician in Zimbabwe is the worst thing that can ever be. Look at the current situation between Dr. Thokozani Khuphe and Douglas Munzwa. It's factions. Go to Chamisa. There's factions right now in Chamisa's party with Welshman Ngcobe. They are having a faction within the first week of announcing the party. They are putting up double candidates. And then what? What are they getting? And what is the population getting from these guys? So it's a waste of time joining someone like Chamisa in his party, CCC. Imagine a party with the logo with the head of a person. So that person, what happens after 10 years? I'm still going to have the head of Chamisa on your logo. That's lack of ideology or ideological bankruptcy. And when I was back in university, people did not accept this lack of an ideology. I don't know about these youngsters who are coming up. At that time, even at a young age, we knew what an ideology was. We knew what a system was. And we had people in the student body, student politics, who rose up to become leaders, national leaders. At the moment, the guys in CCC, their only job is to prevent other young people from rising up. What new thing can you get from Job Scala, Tendai Biti, Charlton Wende, Nelson Chamisa? Those guys are from the 20 years ago. You need new people to come up, and you never have new people coming up because their mentality is that if we leave, nothing will work. That is because they lack a system. If you want things to work, create a system, and the system will take care of everything, which is where they're failing. That is where Chamisa is failing, the creation of a system. And as long as you can't create a system, you will never do anything, because a system grows and a system sustains itself. Look at the ZANU-PF system. You can't do anything to it because it's a proper system. It's got people on the ground. If you try to contest a double candidate for ZANU-PF, you're gonna have a lot of problems. You won't do it because there is a center. In MDC, Chamisa or CCC, there's no such thing. If Chamisa is in Bulawayo, that is where the MDC is. If Chamisa is in Gutu, that is where the CCC is. There's no system to maintain the party. And in fact, they discourage it because if they have a system, then they can't centralize power. They can't benefit. So right now, Chamisa got a car. The rest of the party members got nothing. That is the problem. Everything is based on the leader or the concept where you're saying, I'm the one and I'm the last. If I'm out of this thing, let it be dead. That's what, for example, Khuphe is doing here. She's saying the MDC-T cannot exist without her because she was there when Tsvangirai formed the party. She was there when Gibson Banda formed the party. The MDC cannot stay without her. That is what she's saying here. She's been in office for how long? But she can't get out to let a young person jump in there and take over that position. That is the problem we have. It's not ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF, they've got their own problems, but it's not this thing that is happening now. These guys, if you leave them alone, if you leave Chamisa, then you put Monzora, you put Mzuri, and you put Khuphe in a room. When you come back, they will have killed each other because they're going to fight, even if there's no reason. They're going to be fighting every day. That's the nature of opposition politics in Zimbabwe. Totally directionless and without any purpose. Right. I want to then conclude with Joseph. Joseph is saying Khuphe can't come back because she was exposed by the National Council. Of course, this is true. But the upcoming elections, the by-election, they will tell us a lot. Because what I would want to happen here is I want ZANU-PF to thrash these guys. Like, ZANU-PF must be organized. They must go down on the ground. Even if they have buses, they must bus their people and go to each and every constituency. In Nkulumane, there is 40,000 voters there. ZANU-PF, last time I checked, I think they got like 13,000 votes. So during these small elections, that people don't vote. So you probably have 5,000 people voting or 4,000. ZANU-PF must make sure that they bring a bus or 10 buses and get at least 4,000 votes at Nkulumane there. For example, is a suburb. Or at Mganwini, where there's a split in the CCC. Or in Chitungwiza. They must bring their people out and beat these opposition parties until they lose all this pride that they've got, that they're winning elections in the cities and then doing nothing. Because that's what they're doing. They're winning elections and then they just turn back and start fighting. They spend all their days in hotels and attending conferences, and they've never done anything for the people. There's nothing that you can say the opposition has done. And the worst of them all is the guys in Bulawayo. They were handed a city that was being run well. Bulawayo was amazing. It was a beauty of a city. It had lights working. The roads were marked. Water was clean. Right now, Bulawayo is a shadow of itself because of this new crop of politicians. There is corruption in Bulawayo like you never know. Everything at Bulawayo City Council is rotten. And to make it worse, these guys have made water dirty. People are drinking sewage in Bulawayo. Water is being closed. Bulawayo has never had water being closed. When I was living in Bulawayo, when I was a student last, they never used to close water because it was always available, even when there was the issues of the shortage of water. In the city center, the refuse was always being closed. Lights were on. Right now, if you go to Bulawayo, for the first time, I saw these problems. I went to a hotel and my water was dirty at the hotel. And that is not even when I'm talking of the corruption problems that they have and the continuous squabbling that they're having. So it's not ZANU-PF. And when the change finally comes that you think is change, it will be a shock for you to find out that the people you're putting in or you're trying to put in are worse off than the current system that we have. And the problem is not the people. The problem is the system. And if you can't create a system, then you're just as bad. Right, I think we're done here, and it's been very, very interesting. It started off with Dr. Thokozani Khuphe admitting that she made a mistake when she said that she's declaring a split. There's no such thing. She said it herself. There's no such thing as a split, and she cannot declare it. Then she now wants to withdraw and become the president of the MDC-T. And she calls the MDC Alliance a party, not a coalition. Very, very sad to see Dr. Thokozani Khuphe going out this way. And I wonder where this leaves people like Kalipani Pugeni, who have supported her for such a long time. And what makes me very sad is that Pugeni, he came here and he said when Dr. Thokozani Khuphe finally gets recalled, he's going to make it clear. He's going to take a clear position on her. And unfortunately, he has been hiding ever since the recall of Dr. Thokozani Khuphe. The process started. Pugeni has been hiding. Obviously, he also doesn't want to be recalled with her. Similarly, people like Chief Njovu, they've refused to say if they support Dr. Thokozani Khuphe. No one wants to be recalled. And yet, these are the same guys who recalled other people. So, politics in Zimbabwe is politics of the stomach. And we need to do something as the people. We need to open our eyes, not to just follow these guys blindly. Right. Thank you very much for watching. And I would like to probably come back tomorrow with Dr. Fedias Mcheneri. Let's see what we can say about the current developments in the system. You form a party, you announce it, you are contesting elections, but you have no structure, you've got no head office, you've got no website, you've got no vice president, you've got no secretary general. I don't know what Chamisa is thinking. And then you go to Tanzania with my hair for a visit, which people cannot understand. What was it about? So, total chaos everywhere you look. And I hope that things get better in Zimbabwean politics. Good night to everybody. And please like, comment, and share on our video. You know what happened to our old channel. So we've got few subscribers now. So we need to pick up the numbers. Thank you very much. And I'll be back tomorrow. And as I said, we've got a big project that we're working on here in Johannesburg. It's been tiring for me. I've been spending so much time on it, but it's a different approach for me. I'm learning something different, something new. And I'm not spending so much time in the house anymore like I used to over the past few months. I've been out and about. Thank you very much and good night. Ay, 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 ay.